Okay, folks, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adrian Burt from VTIC and welcome to the new VTIC webinar series. We're thrilled to have you on board for today's session called Google Analytics for the tourism businesses or for the tourism industry, and obviously judging by the numbers of you joining in the call today, a very popular topic. A little bit about VTIC. Of course, we are the peak body for Victoria's tourism and events industry, and in partnership with the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, VTIC membership provides solutions to your everyday business challenges. What we like to do is offer members the latest news and information, connections to other tourism and events professionals, input to our One Voice policy agenda, accredited training and invaluable business advice to help your business be more sustainable and profitable. Today's webinar is just another example of our member-to-member connection. I'm excited today to have WebFirm here to present the latest VTIC webinar. WebFirm are a digital agency based right here in Melbourne and one of our key partners year-round. Today, alongside me, I have proud new father, Rhys Kerr, and alongside Rhys, we have the guru himself, Andrew Hocking, who will be taking you through this exciting topic. As today's presentation will be recorded for posterity, we ask that you feel free to enter all of your questions underneath the question tab on the interactive panel, which is on your screen now, and we will do our best to get to all of them at the end of the presentation. So it's now my great pleasure to hand over to Rhys and Andrew.
Great, thank you very much, Adrian. Lovely to join you on this cold June winter's morning here in the centre of Melbourne. We're really glad that we can be a part of this again. We of course delivered the first webinar of the series, focusing on Facebook, and this is a follow-up to Joanne Grist's webinar a little while back as well. So who are we? We're WebFirm. We're a full-service digital agency. We're ASX listed under our parent company AdSlot. We're very proud of that. We've been in the web industry and the online marketing industry for around 15 years. So I guess in people terms that makes us a bit of a granddad in the industry. And during that time we've helped over, give or take 5,000 companies, which we're very proud. We started over in Perth, but we've been in Melbourne here for the last, I think it's 7 or 8 years. So what does it mean to be a digital agency? Well, I guess you hear this term quite a lot, but just so you know that we do have some credibility within this area, and we're not just spouting on about anything. I guess being a full-service digital agency, it means we cater for web design, web development, mobile website design, and then for those of you out there who sell online, we also provide e-commerce websites. And then under the online marketing umbrella, we have SEO, social media, PPC, so that's your AdWords, and pay-per-click advertising, and then display advertising as well. A few things that aren't up there: content generation, so that's blogging and things, and also, I guess, outreach for link creation out there in the World Wide Web. As Adrian said, my name is Rhys. I've been with WebFirm for around 2.5 years now, loving being with the business, and I help our clients get their heads around the digital space and help them to produce strategies in this space to help them grow. As Adrian said, also joining you today is my esteemed colleague Andrew Hocking. Glad to introduce him to you now.
Thanks, Rhys. Yeah, my name's Andrew Hocking. I've been with the company for a little bit longer than Rhys has, 4 years now. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself. My role in the company is to deliver digital marketing strategies. So all the things that Rhys has just mentioned there, I'll help actually implement those sorts of strategies. And a big part of my role is to actually use Google Analytics and find insights so that we can better improve our clients' campaigns.
Perfect. So I'm the speaker and you're more of the doer, aren't you?
Oh, you say that, Rhys.
You actually provide the value.
Okay.
Let's think about it. So moving along, the agenda. What are we covering off today? Google Analytics. For those of you who aren't aware of what Google Analytics is, we will describe it in more detail and explain what it actually is. For those of you who do know what it is, we'll go a little bit deeper and we'll explain how it works. We will, explain to you very clearly why having Google Analytics is very important to you as a business and the value it can provide you from a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-on-year type service. And then we'll go into sort of the Google Analytics 101 type information and a bit of a glossary of some of the terms and jargon that we will see within the platform itself. We'll talk about who your audience is made up of and how we can see that within the Google Analytics platform, and also how we acquire that, where we've acquired each of your visitors from, wherever they may be, I guess, landed on your website from. We'll talk about your goal conversions, and that will move us into, I guess, some of the more financial type information for return on investment, and we'll also explain the functionality of the dashboards within the platform itself. We're going to make this session as interactive as we can. What we will do is we've got, I guess, a few slides we're going to cover off first, and then we're going to actually jump into the back end of the platform, do a bit of a live demo for the majority of today's presentation, and I think you'll get the most value out of that. Andrew is a bit of a guru within this platform, and he spends most of his life in there. So I think you'll get a lot of value in there from Andrew sharing some of the insights that he gets from day to day.
That's right. Yeah, we'll actually be using an example of one of the VTIC members, which is Cave Hill Creek. They're a multi-venue place out in the rural area near Ballarat, and they provide a wedding venue space. So they do glamping and that sort of stuff. So if in the market for a place to have your wedding, give Cave Hill Creek a call.
And also school camps as well.
They do a fantastic school camp for the young'uns over summer holidays, and obviously for during school camp holidays as well. So they'll be the person that will be running our live demo through. So thank you very much to Tim from Cave Hill Creek for allowing us to share his data.
Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate it. Right, so we will crack on with what we'll be talking about today. What is Google Analytics and how does it work? So just a bit of a history lesson for those history buffs out there in the audience today. Google Analytics actually started its life actually not under the Google umbrella at all. It was actually run by a company called Urchin Software. Back in 2005 or thereabouts, Google actually acquired Urchin Software. They saw their product as so valuable that rather than build it from themselves from the ground up, they thought, hey, let's just get this one in, get it in the door, and we'll massage it and shape it how we want going forward. Soon after that, Google Analytics, as we see it today, rolled out in November 2005. Of course, it's gone through, I guess, various reskins and updates, but very similar to what you see today, what they rolled out back in, I guess, the mid-2000s. It's what we call a freemium service, so it is premium in nature in terms of its functionality, the insights and the data that we can acquire from the platform, but it's free. It doesn't cost a cent. The only, I guess, cost is to maybe set it up in the first place if you can't do it yourself, employing someone like an agency like us to do that for you. And then I guess the time in terms of the resources you spend in looking at that data and gathering those insights after the fact. In effect, when we drill it down to the nuts and bolts, it tracks and reports website traffic. That's what it does.
That's essentially what it does, yeah.
Yeah. It goes a little bit deeper than that, obviously, but I guess when we lay it later or bare, that's the functionality of the platform. As we stand today, and I don't see this changing anytime soon unless Yahoo changes its business model dramatically, it's the most widely used web analytics service on the internet. Bing, sorry Bing, yes. The most widely used web analytics service on the internet. So if you want to be in with the crowd, I would certainly recommend you getting on board with us sooner rather than later. So some of the tech stuff. Look, most of you won't need to know this because if you're going to install it yourself, if you're going to install it on your website, you may reach out and get someone like us to do it. But in essence, in terms of how it works, it's implemented with page tags. So we install a little unique tracking code onto every page and just through a UA code. If you need a hand doing that, give us a call after the webinar and we can certainly help you out. What it does, it collects the visitor data and it sends it back to Google's data collection point, and then from that stage, it's interpreted and reported back to your associated account. So it's the platform that we'll show you today. It's very much a window of that information, and it allows you to go from month to month and pick up that data. Right, so we will, I'm just going to rearrange myself here just in a moment. Why is having Google Analytics so important? Why do we, I guess, preach it from day to day, month to month, and why do we spend most of our days in the back end of it gathering these insights, and why do we think it's so valuable to you as a business? So I guess a few questions to ask yourself. I'm not sure if you ask yourself these from day to day. We certainly do for most of our clients. But some of the insights and I guess queries that we can give you an answer for through this platform. Who is visiting your website? Do they fit the profile we want? So we can actually look at the demographics of a visitor.
Yeah, you can get very granular there, so it's a really important piece to the Google Analytics puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we'll do shortly is when we get into the back end, we will show clearly the current demographic of Cave Hill Creek, which will be very interesting, and you'll get to see the actual visitor that we're sending to that website.
Yeah, and it might be completely different to what you're expecting as well, which is it's a great insight. Whether it's in line with what you're expecting or not, it's great to know. So you can change your website or your marketing efforts to suit it.
Correct, yeah. So do we know what your visitors are looking for? Do we know how they got to your site in the first place? We can actually tell you whether they came from a Google organic search or Google paid search, whether they came through Facebook or Instagram, for example, or whether they came from an EDM campaign. Do you know what they did on your website once they visited? So once they actually landed on your website, how did they navigate through it? What pages do they visit more often than others? What pages do they land on first? What pages are they spending the most time on the website? We can gather all this information. And I guess one of the major areas of value for this particular platform is it allows us to tell us which of our marketing efforts is giving us the best return. It's an interesting game, this marketing game at times, and very, very often it can be frustrating to not know how effective some of our marketing efforts are. We can actually see how, especially in the online space, how effective we are in those particular areas. And then to wrap things up, did they leave a calling card? So did they fill out a contact form? Did they leave some information? How many leads are we gathering month on month, and are we improving that? Is it delivering us the results we need as a business? Google Analytics answers all of these questions and much, much more. Anything to add there, Andrew?
Well, yeah, I think we'll move on to the next slide. The main thing is that it's actually free. So Google Analytics is fantastic because you don't have to pay a cent, and it gives us as much information as we can handle. So whatever you want to know about your visitors, you can find that out with Google Analytics. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars a year to get this amazing information. It allows us to track the results of our marketing efforts more closely. And identifies opportunities for us to fine-tune our website. So that's a really important part, because if you don't have a handle on what's happening with your website, then what's the point of doing a PPC campaign if you don't know how effective it is and if it's actually turning into website leads? Then there's really no point of engaging in that PPC. So it's really, really important to get a grasp on what's actually happening on your website so you can fine-tune it. Maybe you don't need to spend any money on PPC. Maybe you just need to make your contact form a little bit more clearer, and Google Analytics can give you those insights. It can tell you when people are dropping off and in which marketing channel is the best. So very important, very, very important points there.
So in terms of this last point, I'm sort of going off track here slightly and diverging from what we've written down and what we're going to talk about. But the last point here identifies opportunities for us to fine-tune our website. Can you give me a real-world example of someone recently, maybe not use the client's name, but someone recently that we've picked up an insight through the analytics platform and we've made a change and it's shifted the needle in terms of creating more money for them as a business?
Well, yeah, I won't use the client's name, but essentially we could track where we could see where people were falling off in the website, so we can see data on where they're entering in from, and we can also see where they're exiting from. So we can see which particular page people seem to be exiting from. And we wanted to increase their conversion rate. It was sitting at about, sort of 1.5%. So we want to...
Which is a little low.
Which is about half what we probably want. It obviously depends from website to website, but we definitely wanted to improve that conversion rate. So we looked at where they were dropping off, and we thought, right, what's wrong with this page? Why are they dropping off here? And we noticed that they didn't have any imagery on there, so we thought maybe they're just, it's a very text-heavy sort of page. So we just spiced it up with a few images,
right.
And just made it a little bit more engaging and it
broke
more interesting, and it broke the content down, and that helps to reduce that exit rate on that particular page, and it increased the conversion rate by about 0.4%. So,
well, and if you're looking at 100, 200 visitors,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
that's massive.
It's quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's plenty of other examples like that where Google Analytics can give you a great little insight. And that was the simplest thing. We didn't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars on a PPC campaign. We just made some small changes to the website, cost us nothing, and we improved the conversion rate by 0.4%. So that's the real benefit of Google Analytics. It can identify the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, really? And isolate those very quickly.
Yeah.
And because let's face it, we build websites and we're very happy with them when they roll out, and we have big launch parties and things, and they look perfect. But they need to be tweaked ongoing.
Yeah, and it's completely different to the user experience.
Yeah, we can't predict sometimes users' behaviour once they get on the website. So once we actually get those insights and data, we can actually make proper informed decisions and make some meaningful changes.
Rather than something that's just based on vanity and thinking, oh, this looks great, but it might not work well. Yep. The user just gets confused or whatever it might be. So it's always best to make your decisions on your website based on some sort of data.
For sure. So just before we move on from this slide, the main takeaway here, guys, is if you don't have analytics installed, do it today or get someone to do it for you. It is an absolute no-brainer. It's an absolute must. If you have a website, it should be installed. If it's not, it needs to be. If you don't know if it is installed, give us a call and we can check. It takes us all of 10 seconds and we can provide some advice there, but you need to have this on your website. If you've got a website and you don't have Google Analytics, to me that says that it's not an important part of your business and you don't see it as a revenue creating stream for you.
That's it. And the other thing is that Google Analytics, I want to make one more point before we move on. Sorry to hold everything up.
Valuable slide. Yeah.
In comparison to your traditional sorts of media, so your print and your TV and your radio, it's very hard to track those sorts of, whether that's returning, giving you ROI. You really can't tell. I mean, you can get a rough idea of who you're sending it out to, but you can't really tell how well they interacted with it, whether they actually really looked at it at all. You do a letter drop, they might just throw it in the bin. So you really can't get any tangible data on traditional sorts of media. So that's why websites and Google Analytics is so powerful and has a real advantage over those sort of traditional types of media.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you for that.
All right. Let's move on.
Guys, also I've seen a few questions pop up from some of the members on the call today, which is absolutely brilliant. We love that you're engaged and you're listening and you're asking questions. What we might do is I'm not going to ignore them, but we will answer those at the end of the presentation. We may cover off some of the information as we go through. But for those questions we don't cover off through the presentation, we will have a bit of a Q&A session right at the end. So please do ask a question if something springs to mind, put it in there and we will come back to it. But yeah, we'll answer all of those right at the end. So without further ado, some of the Google Analytics 101s and some glossary of some of the terms and jargon. We will look at these in more detail once we get into the live demo. So this will become, more insightful once we're actually in the platform. But just a bit of high-level information.
I think we want to sort of race through these as quick as we can, just because I think without context they're a bit, they won't make too much sense until we do the live demo. So, but I think it's important to explain what they are, and then we'll reinforce it when we do the demo.
Perfect. So what have we got here? So Google Analytics, it's broken up into a number of different sections within the back end. it's really broken up into these main sections here. Dashboards is actually hidden away now, but it's important to cover off. So within the dashboards section of the platform, what that's effectively made up of is a collection of widgets, and allows us to quickly view your data from the various reports throughout Google Analytics. You can have up to 20 of these separate of these dashboards, each with about 12 widgets, I believe. And from those dashboards, you can actually set up automatic emails. So you could set up an automatic email month on month on the first of each month to report on certain statistics on your website. Maybe social media may be particularly pertinent for you as a business, so that may be something you want to report on every month, as an example. Within real time, I love real time. We might do a bit of a live example of this shortly, if we're clever enough. But what this allows us to do is monitor activity in real time that occurs from moment to moment. The reports are updated continuously, and each hit is reported seconds after it occurs. And it's particularly useful for providing insights into how people are reacting to, I guess, a particular marketing campaign in that moment. We often do EDMs at Webfirm, and it's always interesting to send them out, and then while it's been sent out, jump into the real-time reporting dashboard and see who is hitting our website, where are they pinging from around the country, just to get that real-time data.
Yeah, it's a little Big Brother-ish. You can sort of see exactly what they're doing in real time. So
just on your website, not
yeah. You were not accessing their web camera or anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
good. Yes, good. Audience reports. What this allows us to do is it provides insights into the characteristics of your audience. The main ones we'll talk about today: demographics, geography, so where they are in terms of their location, and the technology they are using to look at your website. So whether they are on a mobile device, a phone or a tablet, or maybe a desktop device. Next up, we've got acquisition. So this is where it shows us where we acquire our users from, and it shows a little bit of data of their behaviour once they're on your site and how we acquire them and their conversion patterns. Behaviour reports. We're not going to spend too much time on this today. It's a little bit of a deep dive for us agency geeks. So I wouldn't, feel free to jump in there, but I wouldn't encourage you to spend too much time in there. You can get yourself lost in there for days.
Yeah.
But we will maybe touch on it briefly. What it does, it allows us to see very, very accurately how visitors move through your website and how they interact with your content.
Yeah, like that example I was saying before, this is where I go to sort of see that really interesting information about where people are going once they get onto the site, and where they're entering and exiting from, and where the conversions are happening, etc.
Perfect. And then conversion reports. For the accountants on the call today, this is great with regards to return on investment. It allows us to report on ROI, and it allows us to report on the completion of a particular activity. So what's a few examples? Click to call on your mobile, you can report on that. People converting, providing information through contact forms. Others could be downloading a PDF if you're a resource-based sort of business, or a government organisation maybe.
Yep, it could be even maybe you run a sort of a bit more of a research type website, and all you really want is people to spend a bit of time reading your information. So you might have a goal surrounding how much time people spend on your website. So you might want people to spend 10 minutes. So we can record how many people spend 10 minutes plus on the website. So it could be something as different as that. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Conversion reports. Right, now I'm going to hand over to Andrew now, just quickly. He's going to run through some glossary and jargon type terms.
Yep.
Some of the things we'll see in the back end shortly.
Yeah, so what Reece was covering off is some of the sections of Google Analytics. I'm just going to cover off some of the bits and pieces of information that you'll see show up pretty much all through the whole of Google Analytics. So in each section, you will invariably see all of the following. So a session is really just a visit to the website. That's the easiest and simplest way to think about it. And you have users who are new and returning. So a user, you might have 50 users, and they've all gone to the website twice each. So that's 100 sessions. So when you have a new visitor, they might go to their website twice, so that would be 2 sessions. And a returning user is one who has obviously already been to the website before. A page view is simply how many pages a user has been to, and it is the cumulative amount of all pages that have been seen in a particular time. So you'll notice when we go through the demo that you can see that we can change the date range. So you'll see the information, all these bits and pieces related to that date range. Bounce rate is the rate at which people bounce from the website. So if someone comes to the website and they take no action and leave straight away, they might click the back button, or they've finished their search, or they might have found your number and called you straight away, and that's all they need to do. That will be recorded as a bounce.
Sorry to jump in there. I know this is something our clients always hone in on, and their bounce rate. Do you have an idea of what's a good bounce rate and a bad bounce rate?
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally speaking, bounce rate has a bit of a negative connotation to it, because I think people are, oh, geez, people are coming to our website and they're leaving straight away. 50% of them are leaving straight away, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're a plumber and you have people coming to your website, they're probably just getting your phone number. They don't need to be reading all your pages and all your blogs or anything like that. They just need to come in, grab your number. They got a leak that they need to get taken care of straight away. So that website might have a bounce rate of 80%. So,
so
you need
look at it within context.
Yeah, exactly. You need to think about what people are using your website for before you sort of take anything out of bounce rate. It's a good indication though, because sometimes, you might be wanting people to spend time and there's a high bounce rate. There might be something wrong with the website. Maybe it's not mobile optimized, so people are just getting frustrated having to pinch and zoom and all that sort of stuff. So it's a good little bit of information. Goals, as Reece sort of has already mentioned, we use goals and conversions interchangeably, so try not to get too confused about that. We'll use them quite interchangeably, but essentially anything that we want to track that we think is important to the business, whether that is a click-to-call on mobiles, or it's filling out an inquiry form. Traffic source, so this is where the traffic is actually coming from. What sort of traffic are we getting here? So is it from a paid campaign? Is it from Google Organic, or is it a social media piece of traffic? So where is it actually coming from? And landing page is where the user landed. So which page did it come through from? So most of the time it will be the home page. Let's say you run a fruit store, an online fruit store, let's say, and people will generally land on the home page, but they might land on the green banana page because that's what they've typed into Google. They're looking for green bananas and they've landed on your specific page to green bananas.
Right.
You like that example?
Yeah, I do. I hope you're not searching for green bananas.
No, it's a bit weird. Anyway, let's move on.
So shall we crack into this live demo?
Yes.
We are going to actually jump into another screen now. I'm just going to bring that up, and I'm just going to jump into analytics. I'm just going to make sure that has popped up all right. Perfect. Right, so this is your baby, Andrew, so I'm going to let you drive.
Yep, I'm going to drive this.
So what are we starting here? So we've got...
So this is the back end of Google Analytics. So as Reece talked about before, these are the different sections of Google Analytics over here. So the real-time, the audience acquisition, behavior, conversions.
Right, okay.
And under each one of these, we can see a whole list of different segments that we can look at.
Perfect.
So we'll start with this whole section here. So invariably, you'll land on this sort of overview section, and you'll see up here there's a date range. So we can manipulate this to be anything that we want.
Okay. So where should we go back to?
Well, we might as well go back to the start of this campaign, perhaps.
Okay. So
we might go back to June. No, it might be July 1st. So you can just change that, or you can select them in here. Right. So I'm just going to type it in.
Perfect.
July 1st of 2016 through to, we want to use whole months. just so it doesn't have a massive drop off. So we'll just click here. So the end of May.
Lovely. Wow. So what have we got here? So that's okay. I'll just speak.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind.
I'm getting excited.
Okay, so quite often Google Analytics will default it back to day. So all these little bumps are single days and they're visitors that have come to the site on a single day. So we can toggle this and we can change that to week, or we can, and see, you'll notice that you can start to see a bit more of a trend here. But if you're looking over a few spans of months, it's best to use the month. It just gives you a better visualization of the trend of the traffic.
That's a nice growth, isn't it?
It is quite nice. So we picked up the campaign and started doing some things back in sort of July.
So obviously analytics wasn't on the website then?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. So we put the Google Analytics on, and the marketing efforts that we've been doing have
slowly increasing.
Yeah, slowly and sustainably increasing the traffic. And each one of these little dots represents how many visitors there have been, or sessions there have been in each month. So 1477, and then it sort of goes up and up. So you can do this on your own.
Great.
And there we have some of those extra little bits and pieces of information that I went through. So the sessions, the visitors, the actual person, the people, the users, how many of them there are, and how many page views. So there were 2.31 pages per session. So when someone came to the website, they generally went to and looked at 2.31 pages. So that's pretty good, really. Average session duration is quite healthy, 2.2 minutes. So that's really, really good. Bounce rate 50%. That's pretty much average.
Industry, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd be okay with that. But there are some caveats to that as well. And then it gives you an idea of how many of the sessions are new. So which is quite good. 73%. We love our existing customers, but we always want as many new ones as we can get.
Absolutely.
And over here we can see new versus returning. So that's that same percentage there.
Okay. So and we're going to break into audience a little
bit. We
further,
will. You can see some extra information there, but I typically don't look at that. Let's just jump into audience. So we might look at real time at the end if we've got time. But I'll just jump into audience. So we'll break this down. So you can see there's a bunch of different areas that you can go into. We'll start with demographics. So we'll just ignore these guys for the moment, and we'll start with demographics. So we'll just have a little look at the overview of this.
Wow. Also, we spoke about this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, so this gives you an idea of your gender and the age of your visitors. So we can see here that 32% of the visitors are between the ages of 25 and 34, and 74% of them are female. So if that's what you're expecting your visitors to be, then that's great. Then you've probably hit the mark, and that's exactly what you want. But if it's the opposite, then why is that happening? What sort of, maybe your marketing efforts are
a wrong place.
A wrong place. Maybe you're targeting the wrong age or the wrong gender. Maybe they're a little too feminine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
so
and I guess this is really important with regards to what you've got on your website and the tone and I guess the imagery you're using as well.
Exactly, yeah. That gives you some really, really good insights. So you can get a little bit more granular on those. So we'll just go back over here and click on age. Again, it generally defaults to day, so we'll change that over to month. And you can get an idea of how these sort of age brackets have been going over the months.
Lovely.
So you can see that probably that 25 to 34-year-old bracket has probably increased the most. The 35 to 44 as well. And we can see down here some more granular information, so the sessions, the new sessions, etc., the things that we've
for each particular demographic. Okay.
And these are the conversions currently selected on click to calls.
Okay.
So we'll change that to all the goals that we're tracking, and we can get an idea of the goal conversion rate, which is at 4.6%, which is fantastic.
That's high.
Yeah, so probably the general benchmark is about 3%. So to be 4.6% is absolutely fantastic.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? So for every 100 visitors, we're getting
we're getting 4.6. 4.6.
Okay,
So
right.
we'll say 5.
Yep. Okay, cool.
So that's really, really good. So likewise, if your conversion rate is 0.5%, that means you have to get 200 visitors to get 1 conversion. So that's why conversion rate is really, really important thing to track. It's much easier to just make small incremental improvements on your conversion rate than it probably is to spend a lot of money to bring more traffic in. So it's really important to get your conversion rate sorted first before you spend loads of money on a PPC campaign or your social media. You've got to get your website right.
Dead right. Because, using this example, we'd have to have, if it was 0.5, you'd need to get, 1,000, have I done that maths right? 1,000 visitors to get 5. So that's a lot of traffic to get 5 conversions.
Exactly.
So,
it's just it's
you're treating water.
Exactly. It's the lowest hanging fruit is to improve your conversion rate. And we can see which bracket of age group is converting more.
Yeah.
So we can see here 35 to 44-year-olds are converting at the highest rate.
Okay, good.
So we'll move on to, again, you can look into gender as well and you get the same sort of information.
Okay, lovely. Female.
All right.
Now we're going to look at geo and also, the technology, I think.
And I should mention also that you can't break anything in here, although it's a very confusing and there's data everywhere. It's all a bit much and overwhelming. But just know that you can't break anything in here. You're just looking at the data that already exists there. So
it's a window.
It's a window into your website.
An unbreakable window.
Yeah, like shatterproof glass, except that breaks. That breaks. So something else.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, so we'll go into the location. So this is really this is quite neat. This little section. So you can sort of see the traffic where it's coming from. So you could expect a bit from overseas. Some people are a little bit of spam and random searches. But you can click on this, or you can click on this, and we'll click on the map, and you can see here where most of it's coming from. So you can hover over it and you can see all the sessions.
Wow, and such rich information.
Yeah, and you can go even further. You can go to city. So you can see Melbourne, Sydney, Ballarat, Adelaide, Geelong, etc., etc. And again, you've got all this information across here, going this way.
So your sessions, quite consistent, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I was sort of saying before. You're going to see these guys everywhere, and these are the crucial bits of information that you want to look at.
Lovely. Right, and now technology, was it?
Sure, we'll go have a little look.
Sorry,
mobile.
Yep.
We'll have a look at the mobile section. So this section gives you some data on the types of technology that the visitors are actually using. So are they coming on mobile? Are they visiting your site using a mobile device, a desktop, or a tablet? Now these are ordered by most to least, so we can see that actually most of the visitors are coming through on a mobile device. And if you pair that up with tablet, which is also technically considered a mobile device, we're looking at about 60% of the traffic. So this is a really valuable insight to go, well, hang on, we've designed our website for desktop, but most of our visitors are mobile, so maybe we should look at actually designing our next website for a mobile device.
Which is where most businesses and most industries are moving.
Exactly, and you can get a little bit of extra information here. So if you see perhaps your desktop bounce rate's 30% and your mobile bounce rate is really high, maybe 70 to 80%, then you maybe need to look at how your website operates on a mobile device. Maybe it's really slow or clunky. You might need to get that checked out.
Perfect. Good.
All right, so what should we look at next?
Well, how about we jump into, I'm just looking at the time, so okay, we're running all right, we've got 20 minutes to go.
Cool.
Why don't we jump into acquisition?
Sure.
And maybe drill down on some of the channels. Yep.
Yeah, let's do that.
Where the traffic's coming from.
Cool. So we're just going into the channels. So the channels, think of the channels in which people arrive to your site. So we've got a few different ones here. So we've got organic search, so that's people coming through from Google, but it doesn't include the paid ads. Direct, this is when someone comes directly to your site. They already know Cave Hill Creek. They've been there before. They're typing in cavehillcreek.com.au. Referral, this might be from business directories such as Yellow Pages.
VTIC maybe?
It could be from VTIC. It could be from someone who's referenced your site. this is quite a good one. So if you're engaging in Yellow Pages, you might want to have a look at this, because this is where their traffic will be coming from.
Yep. Or if you're on a wedding directory. Or,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's good to get an eyes over this little guy. Social is obviously social media. Other is certain little campaigns that we might put together that we deem as other. Email is obviously email.
Okay. Can we show them quickly the audience, the plotting of the rows?
Sure. Well? So we'll just change this again to month. And then what we want to look at is how each one of these channels is performing.
Great.
Just a little sound grab there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just click on all these little ones, the ones that we actually want to look at. So I want to look at how our organic is going against our direct and our social. So I'll just select all these, and then I'll go up here and click on plot rows. And then what that's going to do is going to actually add that to the graph there.
Great. Okay.
So we can see organic is the orange little line up here. Direct is green, social is the purple. So you can see that the bulk of our traffic is obviously coming from organic.
Okay. Perfect.
And we can see on month, so May we had 1,730 organic sessions, direct 1,200, social 242. So it's a great little way to just give you an idea of what your marketing channel efforts are actually doing, and whether you need to adjust your budgets accordingly.
I guess it depends as well, doesn't it? If you're spending where you're spending the bulk of your resources or your investment in terms of money, if you're spending it all on an SEO campaign through an agency, or you're spending a good chunk of money through your social streams, this should replicate.
Yeah. Well, you want it to line up, wouldn't you?
Line up.
Yeah. So if you're spending, bucket loads of money in your organic, and this conversion rate is really low, and there's not much traffic in there, then you might need to, sort of reassess what you're spending there.
Correct. And not surprising, the referral goal conversion rate is quite high.
It's fantastic, yeah. And so is the social, which is really, really good, which means that that's probably a good indication that you could spend more money in that channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's other, sorry.
Yeah. 2.4. Brilliant.
2.38.
Okay, lovely. Good. Okay, and now I'm just wondering what we jump into now. Shall we have a quick look at the conversion reports?
Yep.
And then we might jump in quickly to the other platform as well.
Yeah, sure. Agency Analytics. Yep. Cool. So I've just jumped into, so again, these are all our tabs, so you can open and close these as you so choose. So we're just going into the conversions goals. Again, I use them interchangeably. If you see conversion or goal, for me it's the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, so we can sort of see how many goals we've had over this time frame. So we've still got it on that same date that I selected at the start. So we can see that we weren't really getting any goals at the start, or they weren't perhaps tracking just yet. So we can look at also the conversion rate. So what I'll do is actually change that to month, so you can get a little bit better idea of what's going on. So since Cave Hill Creek is a summer camp, they did really, really well over November, December, while the parents were...
And the weddings as well?
Yeah, and the weddings. So we had a lot of interest over this sort of period, over the hotter months. And we can see each one of the goals that we're actually tracking. So this is the click to call. So that's when they're on their mobile and they click the phone number and it calls straight through. We can track that. Contact form submission. So that's just one of the contact forms on the website. Book now for the summer camp, so they just book straight in. Downloading a PDF, reserving the summer camp, so that's one we've just set up recently. And wedding package download, another one we've just added recently, so there's no conversions there yet. And we can see, so the conversion rate 3.92%, so that's really fantastic. So you can sort of see here whether the goals that you've been implementing are actually working. So we can see the open day PDF, that's not really doing as well as we probably hope. So maybe we can change that in and put it in a bit more of a visible spot.
Okay. And down here, so the goal completion locations, this is the particular pages where they're terminating, I guess.
Exactly.
Producing those.
Yep. So we can see here /summercamp. So that's just cavehillcreek.com.au /summercamp. and that's where 46% of the conversions are actually happening. And if we go back up here, we can see that most of the conversions are from the summer camp anyhow in that summer month period.
There was a where you ran a campaign around.
Yeah, that's right.
Facebook.
A Facebook one, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So 17 past 11. So mindful that everyone's probably got a busy day to head into shortly. But I think we should use this a few minutes just to show them into agency analytics. It sort of builds on Google Analytics as a platform and has some extra data as well.
Yeah, so this
can you explain, what this platform is? Yeah,
so this is a platform that we use, and it integrates a few different bits and pieces, including Google Analytics. So this is a dashboard that you might come to. In a way, it's similar. You've got your toolbar over here, and you've got your date range up in the top right. So we might go back, and choose that same date range, July 1 through till end of May. Okay, and what this is really showing us, this is our entry dashboard. So it's giving us a bit of an overview of all the widgets that we've got in place. So we can track the rankings in here. Google Search Console, similar to Google Analytics, but it's showing us what's happening on the search engine results pages. Okay. So on a Google result page. Mm-hmm. So it's showing that we've been viewed 46,000 times. Oops, I clicked on that by accident.
You can click on anything.
Well, you can, yeah. And again, it's showing us some of those bits of information that we've been across in Google Analytics. So we can go into any one of these and we can access it from this dashboard. So I'll just click on rankings. So this is some really powerful information here for all the rankings. So down here we can see where it's currently positioned in Google. So Weddings Victoria 12th, Summer Camp Victoria 1st, and we can also see how many positions it's actually climbed, so whether it's gone up or down. Mm-hmm. So this one's gone up 9 spots, right. This one's gone up 2 spots, and et cetera, et cetera.
So just to hone on this, mm-hmm. if you're investing in an online marketing agency or SEO campaign or something like that, this is where you should be shifting the dial.
Exactly, yeah. This is
something you want to be looking at as well, in conjunction with your analytics data, obviously.
Yeah, so this is really important if you're engaging in a company for SEO. You want to know where you're ranking, because that's what you're really trying to improve. You're trying to improve the rankings for relevant keywords to bring in more traffic. The more traffic you have, the more likely you are to get more conversions. So that's the end goal.
Yeah. If you keep converting at the same rate, obviously we're going to grow businesses.
Exactly. And if you can increase that conversion rate on the go as well, that's going to help massively. So it just gives you a good idea. So we'll click on this one as well. So there's a few tabs across here. So you can sort of see the rankings in order of between 1 and 3, between 4 and 10. So what we want to see is more and more green and less red. We can also see the cumulative rankings jump. So this is a beautiful little trend here. So you can see how all the keywords have just been going up and up and up. So that's exactly what we want to see. We've also got the Google Local, which is the maps listings you might have seen when you Google a business or a type of business. Mm-hmm. The little map shows up, so that's where we're positioned in those.
Which is quite important, obviously, for local search results.
Absolutely.
People hopping on their mobile very often these days, those what, where, how, why questions in the spot. So mm-hmm. We need to be ranking really well there as well, obviously.
That's right. And then we can also see actual mobile rankings. So they use Google uses a different algorithm for ranking websites in a mobile compared to when someone's visiting on a desktop.
Okay. So just before we exit, so if we jump into the actual analytics part of this.
Yep. Channels.
Yep, channels, for example. So you'll see here, what I like about a platform like this, and you may be, as I say, engaging with someone externally to report some of this data already. It's a little bit, it's the same data as you get through analytics, because that's the window that we pull all the information from, but it's a little bit more user-friendly and easy to look at.
It just strips away a lot of the excess stuff that you probably don't really need to look at. You just want the nuts and bolts, really. So this is what this gives you. It can get pretty granular if you want it to, but it just, on face value, it strips away a lot of that sort of stuff. So we can see that same sort of information in here, which is a lot nicer to look at.
Perfect. Okay, thanks for that. So that's just an example of another platform that builds on Google Analytics that we've shown you, and can report a little bit of further information as well, whether you've got other campaigns running socially, your keyword rankings obviously as well. it could be worthwhile looking into at some stage if you're keen to shift the dial in the space. Now, before I let you show off too much more within this platform of how this particular campaign's running.
Put the mouse down.
Yeah, I'll put the mouse down. I might exit out of here, and I'm just looking at the time now. I just want to give these questions justice because I see we've got quite a few in here.
What do we got, Reece?
So we might, yeah, you're going to be on the hot seat now. So I'm just going to jump back into the what's going on here. Just want to make sure. Perfect. So that's showing on the screen now. Right, we're back in the game. Sorry about that. Just a wee pause. So I'm just going to open up our question tab here. So we have a lot of questions. This is fantastic, guys. I'll go right back to the start when they started flowing through. Right, how accurate is the demographics data in Google Analytics? Location would be easy to identify, but what about the gender and interest? How does Google get that data? Good question.
Good question. So essentially, if you're logged into your Gmail account or something similar, you're already providing that information through to Google. So if you use Gmail and you've got a browser that you're constantly accessing, such as Google Chrome, it knows who you are already. So it knows where you're logging in from. It looks at your IP address, and it already knows that you're male or female and generally what age, because you're plugging that information in quite consistently.
Okay, good. I was expecting that question actually. We get that quite a lot from our clients.
It is. If you don't want a website visitor to know who you are, then you can use a private browser. So that's one way if you're interested in getting around that. If you want to provide that.
Yeah. So right click on your Google Chrome, for example, use the incognito mode, and that will allow you to browse privately, if you will. Next question: is there any way to see which Facebook account generates the traffic? Would Facebook sometime go under referral as well?
I don't believe Facebook would go under as referral. The only way that might get construed if someone is posted a blog about your website on Facebook. But no, I don't think so.
It's pretty accurate these days, the way they tag it up.
Yeah, exactly. It knows that it's come through the Facebook domain name. What's the first part of that question?
Is there any way to see which Facebook account generated the traffic? I don't think.
Facebook account?
So I guess what they're saying is when
we
look
you've got
at this,
multiple.
Oh, not necessarily. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Isabel, but I think what she may be alluding to there is when we look at the social data or the Facebook data that comes through, can we look at each Facebook account that made that data? We can't.
No, you can't get that granular. No.
Yeah, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some privacy issues there for sure.
Yeah, good. Right, next question. If you have an advertising agency looking after your website, how do we have more access to the details without going through the agency?
Well, I think if you don't have eyes on Google Analytics and they're not giving you access to that, then that's a big red flag for me. I think it's really, really important that an agency gives you full transparency of your campaign, and if they're not, then you should really reconsider continue on with them.
Correct. Like I guess to build on that, Belinda, like if we were to bring on a client today and get access to their Google Analytics, which is, we need that to run the campaign, obviously. We wouldn't turn off access and then drip feed the information through. It's important that you've always got access to that data. It is your website, of course, and you own the data. So
don't be afraid to ask them. Just be straight up and go, hey, can I have access to my Google Analytics? If they refuse, then that's a big red flag, as I said.
Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Belinda. Feel free to flick me an email if you want to chat about that further. Once you have to change, how quickly can you get the difference once you change a few details on your website?
You can really look at that straight away. So as I showed in the demo, you can change the date range. So if you make a small adjustment to your website, you can look at the data before and you can look at the data afterwards, or you can look at it at the same time and you can sort of see the conversion rate perhaps going upwards or downwards. Maybe you did it the wrong way. Maybe you made a bad change to the website and it's gone down. But if you didn't have Google Analytics, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, and there's such a thing as what we call A/B testing. That's not Adrian Burt testing, but it's A/B testing, and that's looking at two versions of your website concurrently and measuring the performance of both of those pages at the same time. You can do that. It's a little bit next level. I wouldn't probably recommend you go down that track by yourself, but you can certainly do that. Question from Chrissy. Good to hear from you, Chrissy. I think we've spoken before, so thanks for coming on the call. I have a 3D tour already made. How do I how do I add this to my Google account?
So Chrissy, I think you're referring to the Google My Business page. So you can add 3D tours within there. Google My Business changes the way you have to access it and use it consistently. So it might be better if you just shoot us an email. We might be able to take care of it, help you with that.
Okay, cool. Are we supposed to see a presentation on our screen, or are you guys going to share your screen?
Okay. So that was more of a technical one.
Sorry.
This is a good one. Do you have an industry standard bounce rate for tourism businesses?
And destination websites.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Let's give a range.
Let's give a range.
I think it was above 80.
Yeah, I think if it's above 80, then
70 to 80.
Probably got an issue. Particularly if there's a place to book something or, things like that, there's a bit of information there that you're hoping people want to see, then yeah. So, but also look at the time spent on page. So if you've got a high bounce rate but the average session duration and average pages per session is still pretty high, then that's probably okay. And look at it against your mobile traffic as well. So if you've got a high bounce rate for mobile, that's 90%. Your desktop bounce rate's 50%. Well, there's your difference, and you probably need to look at your mobile, how it operates on mobile, your website. Sorry.
Yeah, good. Right, here's a good long question from Simon. Thank you, Simon. Is keyword search still as relevant as it was, if it was relevant to start with? Rather than streams of text written with this in mind, a repetition of keywords is more up-to-date info such as updating images, video more important? I keep hearing different opinions on this and would like some clarification.
I love this question. Thanks, Simon. So for me, and I mean a lot of experts sort of, yeah, you're right, there is a lot of discussion on this. Keywords are still important, but it's more shifting towards machine learning. So Google's more looking at user engagement metrics, how long they're spending on the site. Did they finish their search once they landed on your site? If so, that's probably a good indication that they found their answer that they're looking for. So those sorts of things are really, really important now. So the keywords are becoming less important. But having said that, your title tags and your meta descriptions on Google search are still kind of important to have keywords there because it links up with the person's search. So if you're looking for a restaurant in Melbourne and you've got that keyword in your title tag on the Google search results, that sort of links up with what the person just searched, so they're more inclined to click on that.
Okay.
But it's also important to have it, a bit more engaging too.
Yeah, great answer, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, does paid search fall into direct traffic? I may have missed this explanation. Thanks, Michael. No, they are separate.
They are separate. Sometimes they can get bundled in with your organic. So if you run a PPC campaign, sometimes it gets bundled in with your organic.
Yep.
So there's a problem in the way that the PPC campaign has been set up.
Okay. So it's important it's tagged up from the start.
Yeah. You just got to double check that Google Analytics has a channel for paid.
Daniela, Danny, your question there, I think that was an in the moment type question. I'm not sure what you're referring to. You're referring to number 3. So if you want to clarify that, that would be great, and I can certainly answer you there. How do we set up the ranking report with the overview? Is it a Google Analytics tool? So, Trish, I'm assuming you're referring to the keyword ranking report there. It's a different tool, and you can't set that up through Analytics. It's through another platform.
Yeah, that's the tool that we use
as an agency.
Yeah, so we use it ourselves, and we give access to that to our clients. Yeah, so you can't quite get that information from Google. They block the search terms that come through to your website, that information.
Now, last question. Sorry, we run slightly over time, guys, but another question from Isabel. Is there anything Google Analytics that looks at the performance of the site, as in how fast and loading time, etc.?
Not necessarily, but you can. There are Google tools. So if you type in Google Speed Insights or Google Page Speed Insights, you plug your website into that, and it'll tell you the performance of your site and how fast it loads and some of the things that you can do to improve that. So yeah, just Google Page Speed Insights. I'm pretty sure that's where you'll find it.
Okay, great. Sorry, just two more questions. This is great, guys. In the goal conversions, one of the titles of the pages was just, so yeah, I'm just a little bit unsure of what you're referring to there, Daniela. I might, we'll share our email address shortly and my contact details. Feel free to give me a call and I can clarify on that point. Sharon's question, how do you generate monthly reports from analytics?
Well, you do that from the, what's it called? The dashboards? Yes, the dashboard. So that's sort of up in the top left-hand corner of that toolbar on the left. So if you go in there, you prepare a template, so you add in different widgets. I can't sort of go into too much detail about it because we'll be here for a good 15 minutes. But maybe if you send us an email, we can help you out a bit with that.
Walk you through that, yeah, for sure. And I think that is about it, guys, unless there's last question from anyone, but I think we'll probably square that off there. Just mindful everyone is off to get into their days and things. So yeah, just before we finish off, just a bit of a special VTIC offer. If you'd like, we can, and there are a few of those questions at the end there that would probably refer to this. We can set up a free Google Analytics setup for you, so we can actually run through the setup process of Google Analytics and get it set up correctly, or your goals and things. Or if you've already got it set up, we'd be happy to have a bit of a look at it, canvass the data, and give you some insights and recommendations for your website. So yeah, obviously WebFirm that's who we are. We'll put our contact details up shortly. Feel free to give us a call. And I guess anything else online marketing as well, we'd be happy to discuss further if you're that way inclined. And I might just hand over to Adrian now, just to square things off.
Guys, Reece and Andrew, that was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I've been here for the entire call, and brilliant information and some real gold there. Guys out there, fantastic questions as well. It's obvious that we've got a very engaged audience, and that makes it a lot better for everybody involved. But as you can probably gather, guys, there is so much information on this. I mean, it started blowing my mind a little bit. But, what I took out of it really importantly was that we hear about content. I think we learned today that context is as, if not more important these days as far as advancing your business through Google Analytics and the other tools that the boys mentioned. Be sure to look up WebFirm at www.webfirm.com. And if you'd like to come through VTIC, of course, we're happy to introduce you personally to the guys and make sure that we keep an eye on them and how they look after you as well. Now, I did mention before that this was being recorded, and a copy of that recording will be available in the next day or so through our VTIC website. And make sure you keep an eye on the VTIC website and Facebook page for information on our July webinar. But importantly, also, the guys don't make hollow promises. We've worked with them for a while, so do take them up on that free offer. I'm sure it'll help improve your business somewhat. And, if you engage with the guys even further, you've already seen the results through a live case study of one of our valued members. So I urge you to do that. It is the new world, and we need to be a part of it. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you liked it, be sure to hit like on the recording when you watch it again. Post to your friends and make sure that they get involved next time. I'm Adrian Burt from VTIC. I've been here with Reese and Andrew from WebFirm, and we look forward to seeing you again as we make the world a better place, one webinar at a time.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Cheers.
Thank you.
McDougall's going to hate.